You are listening to Phoenix Awaken podcast, a podcast about true life stories of the psychic and metaphysical adventures of the unknown worlds with Alison and Jayson. We are your hosts, Alison Yon and Jayson Infinite Magic. Join us every Wednesday Australian time and Tuesdays US and UTC times as we share our stories of the metaphysical and psychic worlds. Let us go down that hole together.
In this edition, we are discussing the topic of spirit or ghost attachments to things that you either hire, purchase, or get given as a gift.
Yeah, we had a very big experience.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait to share this one. And welcome back, everyone, to another episode, another edition to Phoenix Awaken podcast. Get some popcorn, put your seatbelts on, and get ready for a ride.
This is going to be good. Although, I have a feeling that we've done this multiple times, but this is the most recent one that we are talking about, which was only 2 days ago? Yesterday? 2 days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So fill them in on, or do you want me to paint the story?
Okay, you paint the story and I will fill in the rest of it.
We're on this weight loss journey. And it's like, we do editing
Let's
7
say-
days a week.
Let's say health journey.
Health journey.
Yeah.
We're doing a health journey. Everyone. We put on a few pounds. We need to get rid of those pounds, those kilos, the fat. And because we edit all the time and we're always sitting, during the week, we are pretty much.
We're very busy with our work.
Yeah, I'm an athlete with this job.
Yeah.
So I'm running around like there's no tomorrow. And you're racing around like no tomorrow.
Just in a van.
In a van. Cortisol levels bloody high.
Far out.
Yeah, craziness. And, I don't know, it was you or me said, well, let's get a treadmill. No, because we were going to borrow your parents' treadmill.
That's right.
Because they weren't using it, it was taking up space. But there was so much of an energetic behind-the-scenes hoo-ha.
Yeah.
I just thought, doesn't feel good. Let's check out our own treadmill. We didn't really want to buy one because they're about $4,000 or $5,000 for a decent one.
And we're trying to save.
We're trying to save money. So let's hire one.
Yeah.
Going through all the websites, trying to find a good company near us that hires out treadmills. Found somebody, g'day Frank, and it's like, yep, just give me a few days and we can organise a treadmill for you.
He did say, however, that the ones that we were after were fully booked, but there might be some others available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we just did a lower kilometre per hour.
Yeah.
But that didn't work out anyway.
No.
So we found another company and we found this really cool looking treadmill and pretty much organised that with this company after we went through a little bit of hoo-ha with, because they're on their website was
Yeah, I think it was just
weird.
Yeah, I think the communication on the website is just a little bit different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just too much
Yeah.
crap, really. So Alison just made a phone call.
Yeah.
And before you knew it, we had a treadmill delivered to our home.
Yeah. Going on, can I just cut in for a sec?
Yeah, go for it.
The first time, so when we were organising with Frank, I had to send Frank a message going, how's it going with the treadmill? And then he replied back to me, I think, a couple of days later saying, no, all the treadmills have been rebooked again. So that went on probably for about a week and a half.
Because you can hire them for 3 months or a
Yeah.
month or 12
Longer.
months. Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah. And as that was happening, or as we were waiting for Frank to get back to us, we were looking on the website for other treadmills, and Jayson said we found one. We found a couple, but we just didn't know which one. So I made a phone call for this one treadmill, very streamlined, very slick, very minimalistic. It looks very nice, actually. And I called up, spoke to the guy, Dean. Awesome help, awesome customer service, and pretty much he just explained to me what I didn't understand on the website and said that we could book it in online. So we decided to go ahead because at that stage, Frank had gotten back to us and said, no, all the treadmills are still, all of them are being rebooked. So I decided, no, we're going to go with the slimline one, booked it online, and pretty much the very next day, Dean called me, but I was working, so he sent me a message. And in between messages, we got the treadmill on that day.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
Yeah.
We weren't organised.
No, not at all. We're still thinking we got at least another week to organise it.
Because it's been like a 2-week process. It's like, geez, what's going on? Are we not meant to have it? Is there a blockage in the way? So we stepped into being neutral, let it go, keep looking, but not holding on tight to have it. And before you knew it, it was right there within like 12 hours. I'm like, oh, geez, I wasn't expecting that because the stuff they need to organise when they get it into the property and all that. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up how interesting and how opposite the two were. One of it was like really long and kind of pulling teeth. The next one was immediate. Completely quick. Within 12 hours or 24 hours, we had a treadmill. And that's pretty much where our story starts from.
Yeah, and I was going to say, it's a monster of a treadmill.
It is. I
first walked through the front door, I went, I wasn't expecting it to be that big.
I just sent Jayson a message and said, the treadmill has landed.
Yeah, you did too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a monster of a treadmill, but it's actually a really awesome treadmill. There are key features with the treadmill that a lot of it can be done via an app on the phone, and you can do virtual running with other people as well, which I thought was quite interesting because it's another form of keeping people separate but connected via AI.
Yeah.
Which...
So you don't go for a run anymore with anyone?
No.
You get a treadmill, get the app, and I keep on getting in my mind the Apple VR.
Yeah.
That would make it a whole experience, wouldn't it?
And the funny thing about that is, speaking of the AI part of it and that artificial sensory perception thing, the guy, Dean, did say that when you are running or walking with other people and on the screen, they will move out of the way for you.
Oh.
If you come up close to them, they'll move out of the way so you can go past them, and vice versa. If someone comes, you'll see, all of a sudden see on the screen someone coming past you.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I thought was a bit, okay, this is definitely...
I am interested in that.
This is getting into the AI virtual reality kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I was like, I'll stick to the, the normal. Anyway, so that was part of the exciting journey of us getting a treadmill. The next step of that.
The hoo-ha of the whole experience.
So, of course, it has to be me, of course, because I'm the one that's used it so far. We only just recently got it this week. So this is why it's so recent and so clear in our head. I'm on the treadmill, go for a walk, I'm doing my thing, I get off, and all of a sudden I feel really nauseous and really queasy. And that day, I think that was the Wednesday, just past Wednesday, Jayson bought some creatine. So I decided I was going to have some creatine with Berocca. And I felt really queasy, really sick, like just really like not very well. And I thought it might have had to do with the creatine. And I was, researching. It says, yes, you can get nauseous on it, but you have to take it in really high doses. Me, one scoop, but we're talking about me here, I'm,
You're sensitive.
We decided we're going to slow down on the creatine for me and do just little bits at a time. The next day, I get on the treadmill, I start again, go for my walk, do my thing, go for a half an hour walk, get off, and I feel queasy and nauseous again. And I thought, well, I don't feel as nauseous as the day before that I had the creatine. So maybe it's the creatine and the Berocca and I've got to have something in my stomach. So before I have the creatine, I need to eat. So I didn't really think much of it. Then later that night, we're sitting outside. I go for a 2-minute walk kind of thing. I get off, go to the toilet, And on the toilet, I start to feel nauseous again. And I've only been on the treadmill for 2 minutes. And I come out and I told Jayson that I feel nauseous. And I said to him, do you think that there might be an attachment to this treadmill? And Jason's like, there's a possibility. He said, I'll give it a spray. So that's what you did.
Yeah, I just got the clearing spray out and gave it a bit of a spray. And you said to me, every time I'm on this treadmill, it's like there's somebody walking behind me. And I then said, every time I see you on the treadmill, I want to walk behind you. That's not safe to have two people walking on the same treadmill, by the way. I'm thinking, that's really odd. Then I was cooking dinner, you were sitting down, so we went through all the practical steps of what it could have been: creatine, the Barocca, empty stomach, maybe you're not used to the treadmill walking. I don't know, we went through all the practical stuff. And then did you say, I think there's somebody around?
Yeah, I think because all of a sudden my left ear started, something was going on with my left ear. And I think I said to you...
Somebody's trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to cook dinner. I've got to edit another podcast, got to get it out, and here we are. Okay, here we go, another bloody hoo-ha.
That's why I said it's always me.
And you're like, no, we're not. I'm too busy. You've got stuff to do. I said, baby, you're just gonna have to check out what it is. Take it from there.
So I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna express whatever comes through, and all of a sudden I just got, I love it. I love it so much. It's like, love it. I just love it. I can't remember exactly what else I said, but it was along the very passionate about running and walking and exercising and things along those lines.
Health fanatic.
Yeah. And Jayson just said, okay, well, we need to move you on because staying here in this realm is just not as much fun as what you can do.
Yeah, so go back to what we picked up was the possibility that, because it was spirit, earthbound spirit, attached to the treadmill, loves the running, loves everything about it, possibly had a heart attack.
Yeah, that's
or
what
something happened.
Yeah, you picked up possible heart attack.
Possible death.
Yeah.
And it...
Well, yeah, it is a death if it was an earthbound.
Yeah, that's true. It's not me trying to say dead ghost. I say things weirdly. So we were establishing what the identity of the spirit earthbound was. We both said it was male. I said he had like running shorts on, and you both said skinny.
Yeah.
Shortish hair, darkish hair, and really passionate. Just loved running.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe he was a marathon runner, like long distance running, because the physique also.
Yeah, it was
like
skinny.
that. Yeah. And as you said, really passionate. And I'm like, well, okay, mate. I think we're going to have to move you on because you can't hang around this treadmill for the rest of eternity, and Alison can't feel sick for,
every time I use it.
Every time you use it. So we just started talking to him like he was just like us in the kitchen, just having a chat. And I said, you know what? If you let go of this and I help you move on, you can run anywhere you want to run. You can go to Paris and run in Paris. You can, on blink of an eye, you can go anywhere around the world and just run to your heart's content. You don't want to be stuck on the treadmill going nowhere, because the reason why we got the treadmill to save time.
Yeah.
So we could do 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 20 minutes here.
Yeah,
in between our editing to break up the editing.
Yeah.
So that's why we got it. And so that's good for us, but you need to be free. You need to run to your heart's content. So I then just intentionalized a doorway and counting him back to his true source and allow him to be free. And as that was happening, his mates came in.
Oh, well, hold on.
There's more? You fill in the gap because I forgot.
Yeah, so Jayson helped the runner move on. And so we've gone back to normal. Jason's cooking. I'm back at the computer again. And I think I said to you, I'm like, Jayson, there's still something going on with my ear.
That's
and
right.
Something along the lines of, I can't exactly what I said, but something along the lines of, but there could possibly be 10 of them. And then you just gone, okay, let's just do the same thing.
There was roughly 10 of his running mates. Oh, like, oh, what about us? We want to, I'm like, oh, jeez.
Because I remember you saying, okay, we're just going to send some more. And then you said, oh, no, there's 10. You're like, yep.
And they were all like, yep, thanks, mate. Yep, we're going now, mate. And they were waving goodbye.
And you said there was one guy that he was like a bit unsure. You're like, no, you want to go.
Just go in that direction, follow them.
Yeah.
So I did the count back from 10 to 0. That's how I sometimes do things. And they all out the door, shut the door, and just allow them to run free around wherever they need to run, because they weren't going to be hanging around us.
No. And my ear stopped.
Your chatter stopped.
Yeah.
All the head stuff stopped, and you're like, oh, it's silent again. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, okay, I did a good job.
Yeah, you did an awesome job, baby. And I want to point out the difference between, we do talk about streaming a lot. So the difference between someone actually talking to you and versus streaming.
So I think you're really good at explaining that, because you go through it non-stop.
Yeah, so the streaming a lot of the time would be, I get in my head. For some reason, I'm very sensitive on my left side. So I get a lot of streaming in my head. And it would be negative streaming. So, for example, on Friday, I was getting streamed of having barriers, having walls, not connecting with people, just separating myself, being really down and out, having that cloud over my head in more of a depressive state. So I wouldn't connect and be more open with people. That was the streaming I was getting. These guys, it was more in my left ear of almost like, someone going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because sometimes they just, it's like, oh, you can hear me? Oh, excellent. I'm getting really excited.
It's kind of like a vibration in my ear and someone going blah, 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 blah. That's the difference.
Yeah. So I had to do a tune in with my clairvoyance, and sometimes it's really easy to do, sometimes not. This was fairly easy. And because I think we're amplifying each other as well, then there was a lot more of them around, so that was helpful as well.
Yeah.
And because they weren't negative or they weren't bad or anything like that. They were just passionate runners that stuff's happened to them. Because do you know what? A lot of men who run die of heart attacks.
Do they really?
Yeah. And they're healthy.
Or brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately in my family, many years ago, my younger cousin was running a marathon.
Oh.
And died of, I think it was a brain aneurysm.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
So, a lot of these guys that run and are really healthy just drop dead. So, when we're talking to this, I'm going to call him athlete. You might like that. That's something that would have happened, because what I felt like was very healthy. They were all very healthy, but they just dropped dead from a heart attack or whatever. And they're still, because it can sometimes happen so fast, you still think that you're alive and still here, and nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
It's like you're a bit lost.
It's kind of like the consciousness doesn't have time to adjust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if it's a slow death.
Yeah.
You know when you're dead.
It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because you've had a long time to die.
To prepare.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but when it's instant.
Yeah.
I'm getting the movie Ghost as well.
Yeah, that's right.
With
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not knowing he was dead.
And he had to figure out how to communicate with people as well.
Yes, and that is the big issue.
Yeah.
That's why psychic mediums are really important, because they can sort of be the messenger or the in-between communicator with that realm to this realm.
Yeah. So Jayson and I are a really awesome pair, couple and partnership, because it's kind of like we not feed off each other, but if one picks up on something, then the other one might pick up on something different. So for example, for me, it was a vibration in my ear, and then you stepped in and
I was starting to get visuals.
Yeah, exactly. So we do that, and sometimes you might pick up hearing and I might get a visual. It just really depends on what's going on.
And
at
I'm
the
just
time.
getting it. It mightn't have been that particular treadmill, It might have been just that spirit athlete hanging around this particular company and just going off to different people's houses to have, maybe he's lonely and he wants to have running partners. Because he was like, because Earthbound is, you're not sort of, yes, you're dead, but you're still trapped in this game, this reality.
Yeah.
And you're not really moved on to the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Because the spirit realm's a whole new realm, as a lot of us know. So he's still trapped here a lot. A bit like Patrick Swayze in Ghost. He hasn't completely moved on. He's still here.
Yeah.
And not having the conscious understanding, because I don't think he would.
Well,
unless you're consciously aware before that happened.
Well, I get, like you said, if it was a quick one, then no, you wouldn't really. It's like, why can't people hear me?
Yeah, because when those family members come through, sometimes I get told about family members that they still believe that they're alive, even though they're in the spirit realm. They still feel like they're alive and still everything's normal. They've got more flexibility moving around. Yeah.
So for me, in different frequencies, like we've got the physical frequency, then we've got the spirit realm, and then let's say 5D up, along those lines. My perception is that every energy or every person or every being, soul, whatever you want to call it, is alive in that frequency.
Yeah, and your light body's in that particular frequency realm,
exactly,
which has its own rules as well.
Exactly. So for us, being in this physical body, in this physical arena, we're alive, yet spirit or ghosts are alive in their frequency arena. It's just that it's like radio stations. You got
that's a better way of explaining it.
Triple J or Triple M, and you've got Fox. They're completely different numbers.
And then you've got FM and AM. Yeah.
So that is the story of our treadmill. Why we're sharing the story of our treadmill? Because it's connected to attachments on furniture and also letting go of things as well.
Yeah. Especially when you get old stuff, like antique stuff, if it hasn't been cleared, like you go to a store, an antique store, and you're like, oh, I just love that couch or that, whatever it is. And there could be a grandmother that's still sitting on that couch, for example. It happens all the time.
No, I had the image of the movie Paranorman.
I got that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that could be anything at all. Even with a second-hand car, you can have attachments, stuff like that, depending what's happened with the last owner. That's one of the reasons why I said to you, getting a new car, you're really safe with all that.
Yeah.
Because getting a second-hand car, you don't know what attachments you're getting, what trauma's played out. So it's a clean slate. So that's really important. So buying new stuff is easier.
Yeah.
Than buying or getting second-hand stuff. Or if somebody's died and you're getting their furniture and stuff like that, there can be lots of attachments and even them on a level still attached to that.
Yeah.
So you're bringing all that into your home and that can just cause chaos, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on at the house? House was fine a minute ago and I got this furniture in and now everything's all effed up. I don't understand. Because you got somebody probably dead, earthbound attached to it, or you've got other stuff playing out with it.
And it might not actually be earthbound. It might actually be galactic as well.
Oh, it can be,
anything.
Anything, really.
Yeah, because I was remembering one of our friends in America, he had a particular item
that's right,
that he couldn't move on.
That was a clock.
It was a clock.
Yeah.
And until we were talking about our clock that had an attachment, because an attachment can also be an imprint as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And until we actually broke the clock that we had, we were able to share the story with our friend, and he realized that he also had something that was causing havoc energetically in his own house until he broke the clock as well.
You had to do the extreme.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we talked about his clock, because we could see it behind him.
Yeah.
And we both said, oh, there's something dodgy about your clock, mate. You need to do something about it. You need to do a clearing with it.
And it was not attached, but I think it was his mum's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was handed down from her to him, and there was a lot of stuff around it.
Yeah.
And it was really upsetting because it was about time as well. So timelines and time in general, and just things not good. So he had to, the extreme was, he had to smash the crapper out of it.
And that can be a real tricky situation sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, it's my mum's clock, she's given it to me, it's been handed down from generation to generation. and I'm going to have to smash it because I can't clear it any other way. But sometimes it is that extreme.
Yeah, it can be that extreme. And sometimes we need to get over the feeling of guilt if we have to do it as well. It's like, well, I don't want to, but if I do, it's going to free up all this space, all this energy, and let go of things, and I might be able to, I can move forward again.
Yeah, because things will come back into alignment the way they should be. Because sometimes these attachments or whatever it is can put everything out of whack.
Yeah.
Because it's competing against each other.
Yeah.
So it's really important too. So big tips out there for anyone that buys or gets secondhand furniture or gets given something that's old or antique as well. That's going to be the big thing. To if there's something doesn't feel right and you're just not too sure and stuff's going on in the house, you're going to have to somehow work out how to clear it or move it on.
That's if they, yeah. So,
and that's hard if you don't know how to do that. Or
I guess that was my question as well. Is like, for people who are not entirely too sure, or is it better just don't buy anything antique and don't buy anything secondhand?
Yeah, or if you do have something and maybe take it out of the house.
Because there's a lot of antique collectors.
Yes, there is. It's a big business.
It's huge. And people just love the antique, like the older generation and the era of their style and the Art Deco and stuff like that. So if people do enjoy that, we're not saying don't buy it. We're just saying if something just doesn't feel right, see if you can clear it. But then how do you get someone to clear it? And how do they know that they need to clear it, I guess, is the other questions.
You could try some smudge it, white sage. Maybe give it a wash of soap and water if you can. Set the intention of anything here to move on. I mean, a lot of it's intention as well.
The sage one I think is really clear, really good, because you've got the physical smoke, and it helps to focus the mind with, if you set the intention is to clear, then the smoke is like helps with the physicality of it, to clear something, clear the negative, clear any attachment, and maybe visualize scissors.
Yeah.
Cutting
the cords,
cutting
or cutting whatever away, or yeah, you're right. It's a big one if you're just a normal person and you don't have any understanding of this. But people who are watching and listening this
would have an understanding.
They would have an understanding, I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
Because people who are not in tune with this sort of thing would not be watching or listening to our content. Very unlikely, but there's a few out there, because I'm getting people from this job listening and watching, and they're like, oh, it's very interesting, Jayson, very interesting. They have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the experience of that. And we've had a lot of those.
We have had a lot of those experiences. I can't really remember any at the moment. The treadmill, because it was so recent, that's the one I do remember.
Same as I'm just getting when you go into another house, or you buy another house, or you... Yeah, a house is a big one too.
There would be always imprints.
Yes, and there's death imprints. If somebody's died in a house, they do leave a death imprint.
Yeah.
On where they died.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to clear.
So, for example, we've done a podcast on this house where before, when we moved in, and there was I'm not going to say what symbol, there was just a symbol in the ground in this room that we were in. And it's not physical. This was all based on energetic. And this was an imprint that was done centuries ago.
Yeah, it was done a while ago. It was just all paddocks and just bare land here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sometimes an imprint can be, because time continues on for eons.
It's like it multi-layers on each other. It just builds up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's probably a good way of explaining it.
Builds up.
It just like it's a...
The grind builds up.
Well, if you look at it on a physicality, on the physical level, I'm going to use Egypt, for example, or any ancient history. Civilization. They have all their buildings topple over. Some don't, but some do. And for whatever reason, sand and ground and soil just build on top of each other.
And just build everything on top.
Yeah, exactly. So what might look like, say, for example, in Egypt, what might be a head could be 20 feet underneath the ground, really.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. It's just building things on top, and if you go into the energetics and all the history of it, it's just on top of each other.
Yeah.
Accumulating.
A good example of visualizing this, the heads at Easter Island.
Yes.
I think they were just like the forehead at one stage.
Yeah.
Until they dug it down and realised that it's a full-on face on Easter Island.
But it's a full-on body too.
Oh, yes, it is. It's a full-on body, not
It shows how old they are.
Yeah.
Because all the soil and the weather and everything's just accumulated all that to now.
Oh, so it wasn't the forehead, it was actually the heads.
Yeah, you can see the heads.
That you can see the heads.
But they have bodies.
But they've got bodies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good visualization of how things are layered.
Yep, so that's why clearing and cleansing and washing is important.
Yeah.
So make sure you clean your house, clean yourself.
Wash your body.
Yeah.
Even a shower is amazing for clearing and letting go and releasing any attachments, because attachment can also be thought forms as well.
Yeah.
I love, when I go into the shower, I love scrubbing my hair. I love it so much because I'm letting go of all the thoughts I had in the day. It doesn't have to be a negative attachment. It could just be a frustration or, anything. A hard day, yeah. And then you scrub that.
Cleanse it, clear it.
It's great.
Yep. Or you can just simply buy my clearing spray, Infinite Magic Clearing Spray.
We'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah, give that a go. I've got a few bottles left. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff.
If you can't use smoke, this is pretty good too.
Yeah. We use it all the time. I love it. I'd drink it if I could.
Yeah. Don't drink it.
No, don't drink it, but that's just me again.
Yeah, okay, so that's our... Because we haven't had too many hoo-ha stories like that for a while, so...
Which is kind of a good thing. We used to have a lot of stories like this in the
well, that's
past.
what started our podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All our stories about all the crazy stuff that happened. And, yeah, it's sort of stopped on heaps of levels, which has been good.
Well, we have had a lot of things happen, but nothing like, I guess, like this.
Yeah.
To this degree. That's so fresh. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen to us on different levels, but this was more of a fun story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, after we cleared it and
Yeah.
sent them back to... So they're going to
Run free.
Run free.
Run free out, my friends.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, this would be fun to talk about. Because not all, earthbounds or people who are lost in this realm are all not nice. They just need to find their way again. Because if family doesn't pick you up or somebody doesn't pick you up, then you don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, that's exactly it. And we just happened to be the lucky pair to do it.
And we didn't go into trauma or drama.
No.
We just,
and Jayson just looks at me. It's like, seriously, Alison.
I'm cooking dinner. Like, we're doing a podcast with the Elvis one, and the next thing you know, it's my birthday, and we're having Indian and watching the new Elvis movie, and she's like, baby, I got somebody here losing their shit about the Colonel. It's like, oh, jeez, come on. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just comes sometimes. It just happens. Yeah.
Just got to go with it as much as you can.
Yeah, I know. And it was on your birthday. And oddly enough, nothing happened on my birthday.
Oh, that'll be right.
But I was watching Baywatch. We were watching Baywatch on my birthday.
Yeah, it was sort of a fun
It's
movie.
a very different movie than the Elvis one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's very true. So let's see if any
Funny
whole group's got anything to say about this one. Yes. Thank you for having us back again. This is more of a light-heartedness topic for both of you, for other people who are not used to this other realities playing out. Not so good. But for you guys, for used to, a piece of cake to move things on, because you've had much, much practice in doing so. So this is a great light topic to share with your audience and the people out there. If there is attachments or earthbound spirits that not to get too scared and too serious. Open up your hearts and have the intention to move them on or help them move on if you can. If not, you can hire professionals to do so. It is true how if you buy antique furniture, anything that's being handed down from generation to generation or family members can have attachments, either being positive attachments or negative attachments or emotional attachments. And if it's upsetting the energetics in your home and you're conscious of this, it will need to be cleared on one level or another. And this can be done with a simple intention, yet the important thing or important key is not to step into the fear of it, because that will amplify it and that can skyrocket more and attract more negative energy your way. So if you are a little bit more conscious and being clairvoyant, seeing things clearly within your mind, if you can do this, you can move and clear mostly anything, unless they are dark demonic forces. That's a slightly different thing. But if it's just general people who are died unexpectedly, still not knowing where they are, still attached to your physical reality on a level, you can move them on and have a nice conversation with them if you know how. Is there any questions what's been said about this, Alison?
Yes, I do actually have a question. I also have a statement for everyone as well, that sometimes when there's a conversation I would love a conversation with a spirit or a ghost that's like just a normal conversation. How's your day going? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. But even I do fall under the fear category sometimes, because I don't always see what's going on. I just feel in my left ear, and it does unnerve me a little. So even that happens to me, falling in the trap of fear and stuff like that. But yeah, I would love to be able to go, how's your day? What's been happening? How's the family? Or, that kind of thing, just a general conversation going on. My question for them is, they said, open up your heart. And I think this is also a question for myself to understand as well, that because of my own stuff that has happened to me, when you open your heart to help someone, can a cord or an attachment get linked to the heart? I think I'm wanting a better understanding of how the heart operates when it's open on an energetic level.
Let's give you a simpler explanation. The heart opening is just you being in no fear vibration and more of a connectedness, open-heartedness, not to a point where you're opening your heart to get everything coming into you or attaching to you. It is a feeling of not being in fear, of like what Jayson gets asked to do occasionally, just to open up his heart a little bit more for us to come in to be able to communicate with you, or not be in just the mind frequency, more of a feeling, open-heartedness, lightness, energy. That's what we are saying. We're not saying to open yourself up, because as soon as you do that on many levels, you could perhaps attract a lot more attention than not. So it's the lightheartedness, being more lightheartedness with this, and bringing yourself back into alignment with the feeling, not just with the mind. You do communicate very effectively with your mind, and yes, you've had a lot of trauma playing out in the past from when you're a child, yes, with the galactic arena and other forces out there, and you're still learning to discern what is and what is not. And in time you will do that. The more you trust yourself, you will do that. And for those who are listening out there, trusting yourself, your feelings, your intuition, not buying to the drama of it all, staying neutral as you can, will help you immensely. Just like Jayson with the runner, the athlete, he didn't need to step into the drama of, oh, there's a ghost in the treadmill. Oh my gosh, what should I do? Call the police or the fire brigade. He stayed in his centeredness, he's open-hearted, stayed neutral, and took the steps to understand and perceive what was going on, and then took action as he felt he needed to do alongside yourself, Alison, where you had the communication as well. So together you were able to work as a team to be able to help move these energies on with ease, grace, and flow. It's just making sense.
It makes a lot of sense. This is going to go really off topic, but I think this is going to be really interesting for us and for everyone. There was a moment, I can't remember what they were talking about, but there was a moment where all of a sudden time literally stood still, and I thought you froze.
Oh.
And I thought, and I was looking at you, and it was like there was nothing. And then it was like a split second, and I got to sit here. And I thought, I don't know if it was almost like you just...
Yeah, because I was waiting for something, and it's like they were trying to find a word or something, or a way to express it.
And in that split second, it was like everything froze.
Yeah, 'cause I was just waiting.
But from where I was sitting, it was like literally time had stopped. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting here and they started talking again. And then I just got all this stuff about time. And then all of a sudden a Native American came through.
Oh.
I don't know why that happened while we're talking about attachments. But yeah, it was like literally everything obliterated and time. It was just... We are back. We had to take a little break because for some reason our camera just decided to switch off. And we're not entirely too sure if it was the battery, because we had enough time, we've got enough space on our card, we've got enough battery life. It might have overheated. We're not entirely too sure because it didn't feel that hot. Or it could be the fact that there was a lot of beans and that produces a lot of energy, or because of the fact that there was a glitch here and something happened. We're not entirely too sure why the camera stopped. Logically, we could just say that it overheated.
That's what it appeared to be, overheating. And this camera is not meant to overheat. Maybe the technology couldn't handle the expansiveness of the energy in the room, because you started talking about a Native American Indian coming through.
Yeah, that was weird. It was... So to just do a recap, it was when you were channeling, for a split second, it was like time completely stopped and everything was nothing and all at the same time. And then you started talking again, and I was just getting the word time in my head, and then a Native American came through. What that has to do with anything? Well, I know shamans are able to work with time, but I don't really see how that had anything to do with what we were talking about.
Well, we're working with opening the heart and staying neutral and not buying into drama and
so maybe that was
the energy, as you said. This is our second podcast for the day thus far, and what we are talking about and what we work with, it's a very big energy. So it might have overwhelmed
the camera. Yeah, that's true. So the camera might have actually overheated purely for the fact of the amount of energy build up.
And you said maybe the time thing was happening to let us know that the camera was going to die. But
yeah, possibly. I have so many other theories. They're wild and spectacular.
You're just your own Hollywood movie.
Going back on topic, so your soul group was talking about, because I asked the question of their understanding of opening the heart, and also coming from my own perspective of opening the heart and wondering if there are attachments or cords that get caught up in the heart space and along those lines. And they were explaining it is to open the heart, not so much where you're open completely and leave yourself open to negativity, you could say, but open your heart enough to a point where you're in a neutral space.
You're lighthearted.
Yeah, and you're not overthinking things, let's say.
You're being in the expansive moment.
Which I was, because it felt expansive.
Yeah, and then that's when the glitch happened.
Yes.
Okay, so we hit a level of frequency.
Yeah.
That was completely at one in the moment of all there is, connected to the heart, being open-hearted, light-hearted.
Is that what happened?
Maybe.
Because that was really trippy.
Yeah.
So just to go along. So there we go. There's another story for you guys, along with our fun treadmill story. That in this now moment, for a split second, we expand so much that time stood still.
Yeah, it became one with all.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. It was the best way I can describe it. And I don't know if this is true, but the best way I could describe it is like it was nothing. There was nothingness. It was just...
Stillness.
Not even stillness.
Oh.
It was just nothing.
So I guess you got a question you want to find out what happened. I wonder if they got any...
Well, yeah, if they know or if they glitched or if there was an Native American coming through, or did we collide with another timeline, or, my questions are endless on this kind of topic.
Yes, you reached a new paradigm shift. A shift where it took you, all of us, to a higher level of consciousness and being together as one. As we said before, there are other beings very curious, and many ears were pricked up, you could say, to listen to this level of the heart expansion of this space. At the time of this playing out, Jayson was right. We were seeking another word to express what we need to express. And in that moment of nothingness, things shifted to a whole new arena, a whole new level. Even getting the attention of a Native American Indian who works with time. We perceive this energy to be a shaman type energy, very curious about heart, connecting with the heart on a whole different level. It has been another interesting conversation once again, has it not, Alison?
It has. I have a question.
Yes.
Was in that moment, can you say, or could we say that there was an interference that made it happen? Because I need to look at both sides of the coin as well. It's like, yes, the side of expansion and colliding with another timeline, which I love. I love my fanciful ideas. Or could it also be the other flip side of it, saying that there was interference happening and that's also part of the pause in time too?
Or could you say that all the atoms in the space did a collision, therefore expanding the atom into something new? Is it not that we are all atoms, or space, between the space of the atoms and the nucleus and the cells and everything that everything is empty space?
You're not answering my question.
As we said before, Alison, there is always different agendas playing out all the time. And some of the hidden agendas will not be, you could say, excited about, let's say, talking about expansion, open-heartedness, light-heartedness. Because part of the game, the duality of the game is to keep everything suppressed, control under the thumb, you could say. You both attract very different energies, very different beings, observing, watching, learning, and yes, at times, hindering you to move forward, to expand. We do appreciate you both moving and navigating around this as much as you can. Persistence is the key here. And it's not important to pay full attention to the beings or entity or galactic arenas, giving your power away to that for them stopping you. It's the other way around. Navigate yourselves around it, not pay attention to it as much as you would like to. As Jayson would say, Alison, you do love your Hollywood drama movies. Stay focused in your lane, discussing what you discuss. And yes, at times, there will be interference. And that is the other side of the coin. Have we answered your questions, or do you still perceive us as lying politicians?
Can I say a little bit of both?
You can indeed. We do not focus too much on the other agendas at play, because that gives energy to it. We like to keep ourselves in our lane, expressing and communicating what we understand and know. And again, as we say time and time again, it is our perception alone, as you are discussing your perceptions.
That's a good point.
We choose not to give any power away to the other influences, because you could say that would bring them joy.
That's a good point too.
So yes, as you both understand, there is many entities, galactic personnel, always watching and observing, but do not pay too much attention to this, because what you pay attention to expands.
That's a good point too.
Have we answered your question?
You have. So I have another question, if that's okay.
Indeed.
Going back to your last explanation, was it actually atoms?
Everything is full of molecules and atoms, minute particles, always colliding, entangling, immersing together, coming together to understand and form new experiences, and at any given moment, as you are all a collective of atoms and cells, as everything is on a level. There's so many levels playing out around and within you, it is not funny. Again, seeking another word to express what we are trying to convey to you. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting, as I was hearing some of that, it's like, keep in our lane. Don't ponder on the other stuff too much.
Yeah.
Because that gives too much. Because if we're creators, we're able to create.
No, it was a good point. It was a good topic for them to point out.
Yeah. And it's just like, because we both know there's so much stuff playing out, especially in this space, this house. There's so much that's played out. It's like, just keep on doing what we're doing. And that was to bring up something for us to discuss, maybe.
That's what
like
I
there was
wondered
funny,
as well.
because what we're bluntly saying, everyone, is there's funny buggers playing out.
Yeah, and what I want to just clarify is that, especially with people that channel, especially with beings that come through, some people might go, "Oh, you can't question them. You can't." I'm like, nah. I'm going to question. If I feel like something's up, I'm going to question that.
So the energy that comes through, as it said, it's a perception from their perception.
Yeah, exactly.
As we have our own perception.
Exactly.
The understanding of this energy that comes through me is not interested in getting down on your knees and seeing them as gods.
Exactly.
Because that is a red flag.
Exactly.
It's like, we're here to share as what you are both doing.
Yeah.
And sharing the best you can with your wisdom, the level that you're on, the level of consciousness that we're all on. And that's it, full stop.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly why I wanted to point that out to everyone else, is because I asked the question, do you still think that I can't remember, two-headed beasts? I don't know. I can't remember what the question was. And I said, can I say a little of both? And they had a little bit of a grin, almost to say to me, is like, not that it was like, yes, you can have your perception, because that's the level we're at. That they're not going to get offended if I say a little bit of both going on. And you just hit the nail on the head, where with some people who, like a lot of listeners that follow people who channel, feel like that they have to almost bow down to the person who is channeling, or the energies that are coming through, and can't question that energy.
Yeah, so when I was tapping into, long time ago, the Ascendant Masters, and I had a lot of Ascendant Master energy with me and stuff like that. And when I was younger, there is that sense or feeling of, like, I'm lesser than.
Yeah.
And I'd always get told, you are like us, you are our brother. There is no hierarchy here per se. It is a difference of education, wisdom, experience, and knowing. That's the difference. Not to say that's one's better than the other. And I had to really learn quickly that, because I channeled Jermaine a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not heaps, but, a bit.
Yeah, a lot.
And I always didn't feel like I was underneath. I felt like he was my friend.
Yeah, so you could have that conversation.
Yeah. But you're right. A lot of people will give all their power away to that, because, again, we've done a podcast on
giving your power
away and being, what's the word I'm looking for? Rescued, or all that sort of jazz. And that's not what this is about. This is just a shared different perception on that. And people need to take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I would like people, if they get them, even from us, is there something they can take away from this, from our communication, our conversations, our mucking around, and then this other energy coming through to share some wisdom, and it resonates. Great. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just take it or leave it. What you see fit for you.
Exactly. The reason why I brought it up was because I was getting in my head, not necessarily from what was the energies around, but just getting in my head scenarios of people going, oh, I can't believe she's asking those kinds of questions, or I can't believe she's saying that to them, that kind of energy. And I just wanted to clarify, like we just did before, that it is equal.
Yeah.
And I can ask whatever question, I feel is necessary for information to come out as well.
Yeah. It's just like the spirit or spirits on the treadmill.
Yeah.
It's not that we are better than them or vice versa. It's just we are operating on a different level of consciousness and a different level of dimension than each other.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And, I could ask them a question and they could make fun of me. It's,
Yeah, I really do, say, yes, go for it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that with our watchers and listeners in case, because I was getting that kind of feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was getting, you need to go back in, because I was getting the same thing of people wanting to know what happened.
Yeah.
So what happened in the space? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, it was fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so these bunch of dudes and dudettes that come through, my understanding, the feeling that I have, it's pretty much neutrality.
Yeah.
And they're not big on drama.
No, I get the feeling that they're not big on drama, even though I have a Hollywood movie in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they know that I have a Hollywood movie in my head.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and they're like, you know what, you do you.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, I wasn't expecting all this stuff to play out.
But it's part of, I'm
The
getting...
unfolding or turning the page in the book.
Yeah, it's like another exciting adventure that's just happened to us other than the treadmill.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about our podcast is compared to a lot of podcasts out there or YouTubes out there, because we're just on the edge of our couches not knowing what's going to happen, anything and everything can unfold or change in a moment. Expect the unexpected, especially for the listeners or the viewers out there. You watch the whole thing, because there's some things that play out that we will record and talk about that's played out in, during a podcast or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always unexpected.
Always. We never know what's going to happen.
No.
I set up clearing candles, energetic clearing candles. I do a spray with the clearing spray. And, we come in here, do the best job we can.
Yeah.
And we just take it from there.
Yeah. So I really do appreciate the group that you communicate with.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I appreciate it too. I like the different perspective that comes through.
Yeah.
What comes through, I'm like, I didn't think of that. Or, that's a different way of expressing it. Or, yeah, it's interesting. We're all here to learn and connect and have different experiences. We all have different things to share, different experiences to share. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I think just briefly, do we need to touch on the subject of what we were talking about beforehand, before all this happened?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the heart opening one, or did we already touch on that?
Yeah, well, we touched on how you don't need to be massively open, but take it to a level of being lighthearted with things.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've done shows with a couple of people, and laughter comes up, like, to keep us laughing, because it brings up the frequency, or it's a better energy.
Yeah.
It's lighter, and it's a lot nicer, and it surpasses the dense energy.
Yeah.
It's like the lightheartedness is a higher frequency.
Yeah.
Than glum chum.
Yeah.
And that keeps us, I'm going to use the word separated, but keeps us away from the
glum chums.
The glum chums.
Yeah, so I'm good then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll just see if there's anything they want to say before because I feel like they always need to say. Well, fair enough. It's like we say goodbye.
I feel like they're going to talk about glum chums.
Glum chums. Good topic. Don't be glum chums. Now, again, thank you for having us here. It is interesting how things unfold without knowing when things will unfold. We are always appreciative, like you, to be able to express and communicate our feelings and our thoughts with you all. Have a wonderful day and keep yourselves light-hearted. It's a lovely place to be. We shall see you and you will hear us in the next one. Oh, that's my line.
Yeah, I just thought the same thing.
I'm just got giggling.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Going to be running the podcast soon.
Because I thought, hold on a minute, that's what Jayson says.
Yeah, I was just like I like this. We're going to say this too.
Anything else that you want to share, baby?
I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
Okay, cool.
I just feel like this at the moment. It's like, woo, and woo.
Okay, we'll close
It's
up.
good. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll close up on now. Yeah?
Done.
Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our topic today of, well, it started off as a treadmill with ghosts and ended up about being in time, space, continuum and expansion and colliding with particles. I mean, who knew? Who knew that was going to happen?
The mind boggles, everyone. The mind boggles.
And you might be listening to us and going, you know, we've just lost our marbles, but that's okay. We're okay.
As long as it's entertaining.
Yeah, we're okay with that.
Yeah. It's all a bit fun here and there. Well, thank you for listening, watching, tuning in to our Phoenix Awaken podcast. Until next week, we'll see you. You'll hear us in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Phoenix Awaken podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For questions, please email us at phoenixawakened07@gmail.com. We would love you to leave